Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man. And today I'm going to be talking to you all about discarding the opinions of man and being on the path to success. So basically, as humans, it's natural to take the opinions of others. It's a really natural thing to care about what other people think, but you have to recognize that's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to get you in a place where you don't want to be, and you're going to be stuck there your whole life. Most people already are, unfortunately. Most people haven't tried their new invention. Most people haven't launched their business. Most people haven't done their art. Most people haven't started that salon. Most people haven't started that jewelry business. Most people haven't done what they really truly desire, what they really want to do. Maybe people haven't taken an extra step into who they truly are because they care so much about what other people think. Like I said, we're all humans. So it's more than natural that you may care about what someone else may think to the point where you don't do something, but you have to decide that in order to be happy, you have to do what makes you happy because you're the creator of your own reality. No one's waking up out of bed for you. I talk to a lot of you on a daily basis, especially people who get necklaces from me. I'll ask them questions. Certain people who get different or specific sets of jewelry from me, okay, I'll say, okay, what's your goal? What would you desire to achieve? What is your main goal in life? And then one thing that I might encounter or is common here and there, people like, I just want to stay the same. And okay, you can say that there's no such thing as staying the same. I've talked about that in previous videos. You're basically a bird in this life. You're flying upwards or you're sinking. So you get to decide if you want to sink down and go down and tank your vibration with stagnancy and just not growing, or you get to go up and you get to become bigger and better things. So people who stay in one spot, who think they're staying in one spot, they're either slowly sinking or they're slowly raising. So you get to decide that. Now, when it comes to the opinions of others, most people don't actually do what they want to do. Maybe their passion, maybe just doing something different. Because how many people do you know, it's more than 95% of the world, but how many people do you know in this life that are just not living? You can be alive without living. What does that mean? That 100% is going to be the complete topic of this video. People are just getting by without doing what makes them happy, without being with someone who makes them happy, without seeing places that make them happy, without studying things that make them happy. A lot of multimillionaires, a lot of billionaires, a lot of very major people will flat out do something so crazy and do something so different to the point where they've had people, they're like the pariah of their families. They're just like a complete outcast, and they come back as multimillionaires and billionaires, and now what they're doing is trendy, and now it's cool, and now other people are catching on to it. I'm going to use myself as an example here. When I started off with crystals, I was making crystal jewelry, right? And I really liked what I make. I saw different avenues of just blessings roll in when I was wearing different crystals. And I noticed the more crystals I would wear, the luckier I would start getting. Like freakish luck. Luck not of this world. The luck is just unheard of. Just different things appearing in my life when I started wearing and incorporating more crystals into my daily life. Online says you can only wear 3 crystals. And if you pass any amount of that, people in the spiritual community, they'll say you're ridiculous. Oh, that doesn't work. The energy is going to confuse each other. They're going to cancel out. And I did care about what people said back then because I was younger. And I didn't try it for a while. I really wish I did at the time, but everything happens at a good timing. So with me, I had 3 crystal bracelets on. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing what they do. They're absolutely beautiful. I would love to wear them no matter what anyone else thinks. So I started with 4. So I had 4 on my hand, or wrist, then 5, then 6, and 7. And then I actually started switching arms, and they both started getting full. And I had people in the gym, people who I knew well, they would be making fun of me and saying, oh, nice bling, oh, looks nice on you, like haha, like what's that crap? And I'm like, if you pay attention to my past videos, those same exact people are begging to get the same jewelry that I don't even have anymore from a year ago when they made fun of me. I've had people laugh at me and say, you still have that necklace? Like, I'm the one who asked about it first. I'm like, yeah, I remember you asking about it first. Like, I don't hold a grudge or anything, but I remember everything down to a T of when I was born to when I'm leaving the hospital. I remember every little tiny detail. The same exact people. I remember a guy wanted to get his girlfriend a present on her birthday, and I made her a present, and I was just new to it at the time. He completely abandoned me. He didn't get her the present. And now the same bracelets on the website, he's like, oh, can I have the same discount I was getting back then? I'm like, you can order off the website if you'd like, but that's not the point. It's not being spiteful. It's not being anything. The point is, you're going to be a complete outcast and people make fun of until you really make it, and then you really see results yourself, and you really do something different to the point where what you were doing was completely ridiculous to someone before, and now you're so happy doing it to the point where people are making it that trend. I don't know what it was in there was something similar in high school. I remember it had to have been like the senior year of high school. I was the only one who was wearing it was junior year or sophomore year. I couldn't remember which year. It was that there was one year, because I wore certain kind of collared shirts all the time. I can remember everything in detail, but when it comes to certain details about what collared shirts I wear in certain grades, I wasn't even mentally present in high school. So I was wearing certain collared shirts, and people would make fun of me for the collared shirts. And then it was by senior year, other people were wearing collared shirts, and that became kind of like a fashionable, it became kind of like a trend. It became like a style. And then I'm just sitting here and close to graduation time, and I'm like, well, this is kind of strange. People were making fun of me for the collared shirts before, and now everyone's wearing them as if it's a trend or as if it's a fashion. I don't know where that came from, but actually down the line I started piecing it together, and I'm like, wait, this is where that came from. This is where that, like, basically you were doing something so different that made you happy, and you saw success with it, and it brought you different kind of blessings, and then other people afterwards kind of mimic. So what's the opinion of that story? The opinion of that, the essence of that is that you have to ignore other people's opinions to see success. Like I said, you might be completely cast out, and remember, when other people reject you, it's because they're rejecting themselves, and they're basically afraid that you're going to achieve something. Subconsciously, they're afraid that you're going to achieve something that they haven't. So in their mind, they don't want to see you make it past a certain point they made on their own. They're so used to a stagnant normal life where nothing changes, but you do something different. And it really shocks and offends them because they haven't done something different themselves. So what am I getting at here? You have to try something different. If you're sick of living your life and not being happy, try something different. I have a friend who's doing art right now. She's having let me say this like this, because she's having a rough time right now. And I'm pushing her. I'm saying, okay, keep doing it. Keep doing it. It seems different. It seems alien. People are going to make fun of you. People are going to unfollow you on Instagram or whatever. People are going to basically shoot their missiles at you because you're going up. And they're not going up. And they're seeing you're doing something different. And they want to stop that because they don't have that for themselves. That's essentially what the evil eye is. You do something so different by yourself. You do something so different on your own. Watch the success that comes about. People who try to be successful by copying other people actually never succeed. You actually go way further back, and your blessings are fully blocked after that, and you don't see the success that you want to succeed. You don't see the success that you want to see to succeed. I keep merging words. But when it comes to other people's opinions, this is a good example. And like I said, we're all human. We're all going to make the same mistakes, and like sometimes caring about what other people think, it's fine. It's completely fine, because it does happen. That's how we're programmed. We're programmed a very specific way. And in this video, I'll be using myself as an example more often, because everything I've been doing that people have made fun of me left and right, I'm seeing extreme success of it, and extreme success for it. I remember when I was wearing headbands in the gym, and this was in the past year. People were making fun of the headbands, like, oh, your head looks like a Christmas tree. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And you have to fail to succeed. You have to keep failing to succeed. And I would have just different crystals in my hair, and I'm like, what about if I just strap them all together and make kind of like a belt around my head and just do something completely different? I'm not ever giving away my design for the headlet. I call it a crown or a halo. I'm not giving away that design. It's a very specific way it's put together. It can't be replicated, especially because the layout is it's my skull in my head. So people in the gym who are saying, oh, that looks silly, and they're like, oh, are you selling those now? Like, can I have one? I'm like, I kind of want a tiara. I want one in this design. I'm like, do people not remember the things they say to you before you really take off? And you can actually look at other famous people's story, other just people who have really, really made success. Rappers can be an example. Certain musicians, certain songwriters, certain people who have seen extreme success. You're looking at their success, but you haven't looked at where they start off. I wish I had more celebrities as examples. I don't look at celebrities for examples, but I do know certain celebrities have stories where they're like, okay, when I started off, like, everyone made fun of me, everyone did this, everyone did that, and now you're number one, and people are literally dressing like you, following after you, etc. It's very wild, because I constantly see this. I constantly see, like, I make a belt, and like, people are like, oh, that's too chunky, oh, you can't be doing that, what about waist beads? I'm like, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. The essence of trying something new to succeed is alien-like. It's foreign. No one else is doing it, so no one else is getting the success from it. But the second you try it, the second you stick out just other people's opinions, other people's anything, then guess what? You're seeing a different success that other people have not seen. I've seen this so many different times, and I talk to you guys on a general basis. So I'll ask you guys, I'm like, why aren't you doing your goals? Where is your motivation? Why haven't you done anything? And people will tell me, I'm staying the same. That's not possible. You're not staying the same. You're sinking very slowly, or you're going up very slowly. You get to decide that. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you have friends around you who don't want to see you grow because what you're doing is kind of weird or different or etc., cut those friends off and make space for better friends, because you're going to actually attract friends who are extremely successful just by cutting off people who want you to fail and people who want you to not pass them. There's a certain level of ego, there's a certain level of pride, there's a certain level of envy that you just cut off. You recognize, hey, this isn't good, this isn't productive, this is not helping anyone, and it's gonna feel uncomfortable. You might have a year of just crying, of just being upset, just feeling uncomfortable. You might be throwing up and just, because some of you have a very, very dramatic assimilation to doing something different. And you're like, I feel like I'm doing everything wrong, I'm doing everything different, I'm doing something no one's done. I'm like, guess what? Look at every other person who has made it very, very big. They essentially made it big just by doing that. And no one's gonna hear when you succeed. No one wants to hear about your losses or anything like that. I mean, some people do, but when you truly succeed, guess what? People are looking at you from you winning. And people are like, oh, it was so easy for that person to win. You don't know their backstory. You don't know where they came from. You don't know where they came from. Now, I talk in this video about just avenues of success and entrepreneurship and just goal achieving, but this actually goes outside of that. Discarding the opinions of man will actually make you a lot happier. So this is a good example, because even I'm a human. I'm not perfect. God made no human perfect. He made humans perfect in their image, but he said, I know humans are going to mess up. That's the nature of man. We all fall to it, so this video applies to everyone. If you think you're an exception in this video, you're not. No one's an exception to this, because everyone's going to, at one point or another, kind of be like, well, I shouldn't do this because someone might care. And then you just evaluate that and like, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. If they care so much about what other people are doing, they're not worried about themselves and they're not succeeding themselves, so you're going to take into account an opinion of someone who's not successful and doesn't really achieve anything? No. And I have a really good friend to remind me of that as well. Remember, I've been using paper towels in the gym, and they just now have been working. Like, I have to walk all the way across the gym, grab certain paper towels, and the paper towels don't really work. They're cheap. LA Fitness is very cheap when it comes to, they took paper towels off the wall left and right so people can only use one set of paper towels. That doesn't even work. I brought a giant roll of Bounty paper towels into the gym, and I said out loud, I'm like, this is kind of silly. People are going to be looking at me like I'm a crazy person walking around with Bounty paper towels. It's the nicest paper towels, but they're huge, chunky, and different than all the other paper towels in the gym. So it's going to make me stick out. I'm like, the man covered in 100,000 crystals is worried about that. Like I said, we're all human. We all fall to some kind of... it will pop up because we're being programmed. That's how we're being programmed. If someone does something different, they're weird. Just don't associate with that person. No, that's not what you do. You try that path, and once you achieve a certain level of extreme happiness, then guess what? You're going to be very successful and more happy than anyone on this entire planet. Let me tell you how that workout went, or if those workouts went, because I'm now walking into the gym with a giant Bounty paper towel roll under my arm, and guess what? My workout is a lot more efficient. My workout is a lot more quick. I'm not pouring sweat left and right in the gym now because I have my Bounty paper towel rolls. I'm going to get a Bounty paper towel roll sponsorship from this video. basically, I'm taking the Bounty paper towels and I'm wiping myself with one sheet, avoiding walking all the way across the gym and basically wasting my workout and waiting for other people to grab the paper towel roll, pouring sweat. No, I have the Bounty paper towel rolls right under my arm. I wipe my face. I'm not pouring sweat anymore. I want to grab an equipment with something. Like maybe I want to use the Bounty paper towel roll as a grip if something's really hard, so I don't get extreme calluses, so you guys don't comment on my hands, which I don't really care about what other people say about my hands. Although I do like to have nice, non-scaly hands when I'm making other people's necklaces. I have very strong hands as is. But that's just a preference that I like. I like to have nice and clean hands. It's just not about other people's opinions. Like I said, in this video, I'm going to be using myself as an example a lot because people are like, oh, yeah, everything's perfect and whatever. Yeah, everything's perfect and amazing. Although we do have flaws in here and there that we have to confront, and that's how I'm able to help you guys. And I'm going to be using myself as an example a lot in this video because I'm comfortable with that, because we're human, and it actually makes it more relatable for you guys if Florida Stone Man is talking about his flaws, which all humans have flaws, not flies. Hopefully not flies. But yeah, the Bounty paper towel roll was an excellent example. I'm going to be, it doesn't matter if I'm the crazy person walking around the gym with a paper towel roll. In the future, I might see like 3 other people walking around with Bounty paper towel rolls. Same thing works like that, because now I'm seeing more and more people like covering themselves with jewelry because Florida Stone Man has done it, and people are getting very comfortable with just going back to old times, like ancient Egypt and Rome, and just different ancient civilizations that would not be afraid to wear certain things. Yeah, just do something different. Like I said, this video applies to entrepreneurship, micro ideas, being with people. People don't want to see other people happy. If you abandon your friend group, if you step away from people who are just pulling you down, and you stick with 1 or 2 friends who make you really happy, that other people might say, oh, they're strange, like they're doing something different. Who cares? That actually happened to me in high school. I remember in high school, I was staying away from a lot of kids my age, and I was hanging out with people who were older. Like I would go to church, and I'd talk to people. What was that? I would talk to people, and I would not want to associate with my own age group because they didn't know anything. They had, how do I say this? They had useless knowledge. They had knowledge that the school was giving. I'm not saying that's all completely useless knowledge. Although a bunch of 16, 17, and 18-year-olds were talking, they were opening their mouth and they were talking, but nothing ever left their mouths. And I identified that. And I said, I don't like this. I don't want to talk to these people. These people are saying nothing. Nothing they say has value. There's words coming out, but nothing is meaningful of the words. And I decided, hey, I want to learn stuff. I want to learn about real life. And I would hang out with the older people in church, and they would teach me secrets, and just, some of them would teach me some kind of magics without them even knowing they taught me magic, like how to heal people and how to use the Bible to help and just achieve different changes. But because I was that weird kid who liked to hold, people are like, oh, that's the weird kid who likes to hang out with older people. I learned a lot more than those people, and those people are in the same spot they were now as I am. It's not like a humble brag or anything like that. It's like these people are in the same spot, basically sinking, in the same place they were after high school, the same job that they had in high school. I don't know how many years went by, like 6 or 7, 8 years went by. I don't know. I lose concept of time because that's a human construct. But the thing is, you have to do stuff differently in order to achieve extreme success. Take the opinions of man and discard them. Like I said, it's going to be a very hard thing for some of you, but you're going to find the most happiness from it. It's very exotic. It's a very foreign topic. It's just something you really have to think about. It's like, and it's going to make you guys very uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, you're never going to grow. If you're in a comfort zone, if you're in a fishbowl that's this big, and you're like, I'm comfortable in my fishbowl, yeah, like I might care about what other people think of my fishbowl. It's nice and even, versus you don't have a fishbowl. You expand to a tank, you expand to an ocean. You broke your comfort zone, you broke that bowl, and now you have so much more ahead of you, behind you, in front of you, to the side of you. and things go so much better because you did something different. And this is how it always happens. You're the weird one. You're the freak. You're the pariah. You're the whatever. You're the strange person until you achieve a certain success that could only be attained by discarding the opinions of others. And now you're successful. And now people are trying to do what you did, and people are trying to copy you when you can never be copied, because that person's actually going off the opinions of other people, copying you to achieve what you did in your time. God has a plan for all of us, and that plan, when God gives you something and you're using it for good, no one's going to take it away from you. Nothing's going to take it away from you. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. This is kind of a very different, abstract video, but this has to get you guys thinking. Like I said, if it takes you a year of crying because you're doing something different and you feel very awkward and stressed out because you're doing something you've never did in your life your entire life, maybe it's a giant change. Maybe if it's a small change, it doesn't really matter. To achieve extreme success and to extreme everything good in your favor, blessings, things that you've never even heard of or imagined coming to you in your life, they'll be achieved by discarding the opinions of others. That's the first step, and that's the most important step. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!